What is up, people? Today I'm going to get into the Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray of it, and I got that coming up for you guys next. So the Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray of it, I'll just get right into the Blu-ray, and this movie definitely looks really good on Blu-ray, people. You know, like I said in the movie review, this is a big step up from the series that came out in the 90s, and hey, this is the fully orchestrated version. They take full advantage of that here. There is some inky black levels that just permeate the screen, but yet they, for the most part, they aren't so inky that they detract from a lot of the detail. And in a few scenes, that is a problem, but I will say, for the most part, this Blu-ray definitely stays away from that. Detail work here is great, people, and this was shot all digitally, and it definitely shows. You get every blemish on every face, and this Blu-ray is almost top-notch, with the exception of those black levels. And for that, I have to give this Blu-ray an 8 out of 10. This is a really great representation of this movie, but with the caveat that sometimes those black levels can be a little bit crushing. And now we have to get into the 4K Blu-ray of it, and this is one that you guys will definitely want to pick up just because of the fact that it is a really great representation of this movie. It was shot on a Arri Alexa XT camera that is an all-digital camera, and this actually got a 2K digital intermediate, so this actually is an up conversion to the 4K Blu-ray, but at the same point in time, it doesn't even matter because this looks gorgeous. And, you know, all the detail that is on screen here and all of the just lushness of this color palette, you know, the color palette here is very rich. And even when you're in the tall, kind of yellowish grass with it, I feel like this movie just pops off the screen. And man, I really dig the color palette in this movie, and I dig the fact that they actually put Dolby Vision on this, and that is something that I forgot to mention before, but this actually does have Dolby Vision support, and if you have a Dolby Vision TV, you'll want to pick this up because it looks great in Dolby Vision. As far as HDR goes, like I just said, this actually has Dolby Vision as well, and this actually looks incredible. The black levels in this movie are exceptionally well and inky and really have some depth to them, with the exception of the end scene where these kids face off against it in the sewers. It's very murky and it's hard to know who's doing what because it is so black, and the black levels really crush in that scene, unfortunately. And for that, I have to give the Blu-ray of it a 9 out of 10. Even with that one bad scene with the black levels, I definitely feel like this is a great 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray to pick up, especially if you have Dolby Vision. So coming up, I got to get into the audio of it, and you won't want to miss it because I got some Dolby Atmos to talk about, and I got it coming up for you guys next. So the audio of it, you know, I really love it when they put the Dolby Atmos track on the Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray, not just because it's easier for me to review, but because it is definitely value to buyers. And this is something that a lot of companies do. This is something that Warner Brothers has been doing, and that is something that they do here. And this track definitely kicks a whole lot of ass, and it is creepy. When that music comes in and that bass thumps, you definitely feel it, and you feel for these kids because of that thumping bass that's in this movie. The height speakers, they get a little bit of work, not as much as I kind of expected, but at the same point in time, this isn't really that kind of movie, so I can kind of forgive it for that. But overall, people, with this mix, you know, it's dynamic. It is very, very, very well produced, and for that, I have to give it a 9 out of 10. This is a well-made mix that I really did enjoy. It's just not reference quality material. So next, I have to get into the special features of it, and you won't want to miss it because I got it coming up for you guys. Next. So the special features of it, I definitely feel like they have thrown a whole slew of special features at us, and just to go through them, there is a whole lot of featurettes to talk about. They have one that goes into Pennywise and how they wanted to really realize him for this movie and for the director's vision, and I feel like that is a lengthy featurette that really goes into it for us. You also have another featurette that goes into these children and how they wanted to make them different than the miniseries, and you know, that is something that is really great. And they also have a featurette that goes into the book and how they really wanted to stick to the book and how they wanted to really take that book and realize it for the big screen. Now you take all of that and you add in all of the deleted scenes and you get a hefty amount of material to go through here, with the caveat that unfortunately none of them are on this 4K disc. I know that's something that I have been bumping up against, but they don't really fix it here. And for that, I do have to give the special features for it a 7 out of 10. This is still something that you guys would want to check out. Some of those deleted scenes are actually pretty funny, and I do like them, but unfortunately, hey, let's start putting these on the 4K discs, people. So I do have to get into my last looks and my overall scores for it on Blu-ray and 4K. I got that coming up for you next. You know, this movie definitely creeped me out, just like the miniseries creeped me out, and that is because this movie is relentless with making me fear for these children. I dig the fact that this movie is daring and ballsy enough to go to places that are a lot darker than a lot of movies want to go to, with focusing on children and their relationships with their parents, and even with them being in danger. I feel like Pennywise here is even more creepier than in the miniseries, and that is because they have a lot more to play with this R rating. I really do not just like, but love this version of it. And if you didn't check out my movie review of it, I gave it a 9 out of 10. And if you add up all my scores, that means that the Blu-ray of it got a 33, and the 4K Blu-ray got a 34, just because of the fact that the Dolby Vision that was on that 4K Blu-ray was something that was really great and really upped the game on the visual quality of this movie. So what's coming up next on this channel? I definitely have to get into Blade Runner 2049 that just came out on Blu-ray and 4K. And then I have to get back into the Christopher Nolan collection. I'm going to be starting at the beginning after reviewing Dunkirk. So that would put me at Batman Begins. I can't wait to talk about that one because of the fact that that is the one that I was the most curious about with the transfer. So if you agree with me that you are curious about that transfer as well, it is the oldest movie out of the bunch, comment below. Tell me what you thought of it if you have actually seen it. And as always, guys, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are great, and I will see all of you next time.